Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
What is up, heels and baby faces, and happy Stone Cold Steve Austin Day, March 16th. Welcome back to the Countdown City WrestleCast, and I'll get to it, Mike. I know what you're going to say. I'm your host, JC. Joining me this week is Tommy.
You.
And fresh off another interview, by the way, with Tommy, we got Mike.
What's up, guys? We are on the train. We are going down the tracks for 2023. And as we found out in the interview, a compliment from Tommy is a compliment of the highest degree.
That was almost the verse. What's wrong with you?
I have to get to degree, but it's also true.
No, but the Tommy part even worked too. So
Yeah.
So some of y'all asking, what interview were they talking about? Well, earlier today, both Tommy and Mike were able to interview Jazmin Allure, which should be, I think Steady's working on the editing, just getting it all together.
Hopefully
Should be up on our
tomorrow at the
hopefully by tomorrow. Should be up on our YouTube page. Full interview. Yes, Tommy was a part of that. I have not seen any of that. I did encourage Jazmin to give him a hard time. I really hope that happened. But
did literally pop in before we started.
Yeah.
To do that.
yeah. That is literally
and to
all
say
he
thank
popped
you
in for.
her.
Yeah, and to say
Yes,
thank you.
yes.
You're right, and to say thank you.
Yes. So let's not forget that. So
I'm gonna let people go watch that when it comes out. I don't know if I could give Tommy a hard time right now, and you'll see why. So let's get on with the show because
yes.
yeah.
It is March 16th. Most wrestling fans will call it Steve Austin Day, but in San Antonio, it is also Thunder Rosa Day because
Day.
a year ago was St. Patrick's Day Slam. We were there when she beat Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, in the cage.
An amazing match, and honestly, the best entrance I feel I have seen live.
For damn sure.
You got a Coliseum full of Mexicans, and you threw out mariachis. It was church, man.
Yes, it was.
I literally posted a video earlier, and I'm embarrassed too because I'm so into it. You hear my weird my voice has been yelling all night. It's already off, and then I'm like, "Rah!" But yeah, that was a great.
It was really cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so hard that night too to figure out, okay, then they got to go and take Rampage after this. And it's like, okay, how are you going to get everyone back up after that main event, So, which to me was match of the year. So still, I'm with the year-end awards for that for sure. Jason, what up? Yes, I'm back this week. So again, Mike, shout out for the Mega Powers 99 thing to open the show last week. Appreciate that. So, yeah.
And I was just going to say, I know at least one person that is going to watch that interview, and that's Jason. Because I know he would like to see and comment on the things that are said between Tommy and
Jazmin. Yep, for sure. So,
never gonna live that down. Anyway.
Well, today we'll talk a bit more than you guys did about AEW Revolution, and really what has happened since then.
We did go over the results.
Yeah.
We just didn't grade it or anything. So
yeah, and I'll leave that to you guys to go a little more in depth on it too.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk a little bit more about what has happened since then on Dynamite and Rampage.
Yeah.
What is going on at AEW? How they've really had to step up too. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm almost glad we aren't going to be talking about it again this week because this past Wednesday felt like Revolution Fallout Part 2, whereas last week was Part 1, but now this is Part 2.
Yeah. So
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Lots to discuss with that. Lots of wrestling news on topics in wrestling that I never thought we would discuss, by the way, of all things. And this is saying something when you think of all the crazy shit that has happened in wrestling. There's one thing I was like, it never happened. And then here we go.
I mean, I guess the one thing is Vince McMahon is never be surprised, or what is it? Always expect the unexpected.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And before we get into that, though, let's I guess we could just briefly go over what is happening this week in the world of local wrestling. We this weekend is let me find the graphic here. We go.
Road to Hybrid Mania.
Road to Hybrid Mania, Hybrid Experience at 3 p.m. on Saturday at the Hybrid School of Wrestling.
And I will be there.
Mike's gonna be there. Tom, are you gonna be able to make it or no?
I don't know. I think me and the wife might have plans, so we'll see. If not, then I'll be there. But if I'm not there, that's why.
Okay.
So.
Apparently I got a couple birthday parties to attend, and apparently it's not so much that my birthday's in March, my son's birthday's in March, all his friends' birthdays are in March too. I'm talking about
What's 9 months before? What was everyone doing?
I was just about to ask that actually.
What is that, like June,
September,
July,
August, September,
or
June?
yeah, maybe
I don't
June,
remember.
I think it's like
There was some summer loving happened so fast.
Damn it! He beat me by
Yeah.
1 second. By one
Sorry.
second. I
Man,
had that joke ready.
crazy for me, summer days drifting.
Yeah, I know you love that.
It's a great movie.
I had that joke ready, and you beat me by
I'm sorry.
1 second.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Nah, you're good.
So yeah, that's gonna take a lot of my time, and unfortunately, I can't make it to Hybrid. But I am definitely interested to see what they got going on because, as I understand it, some of these results, events, matches are going to feed into RCW Mania, which is the following Saturday.
Yeah,
March
Brandon
25th.
Oliver was there at the last show. In fact, he, from things that happened at the last Hybrid Experience, set up the match for RCW Mania, which is, I don't know, Earth 312, JP Harlow and Joey Hyder, their variants, along with I think it's David Kidd versus the Texas Streets. And yeah, look, again, I know you haven't had a chance to watch that match, but there's the Men's Revolution, JP Harlow and Hyder, which had an entire here comes the show for RCW.
Yeah.
Who had an entire Salvation Army Mission Pro building booing the hell out of them, and then I go to Hybrid Mania and they're freebirding around the ring like it's 1980s at a Texas Stadium, and it's confusing, but it's fun, and it was really good.
He said Earth
So they're
312,
versatile.
and I was done. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So this is the RCW Mania, which is the following weekend.
As of right now.
March 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So this isn't the hybrid show, but like we said, some of the stuff will be affecting this. But you can see a lot of good matches at this one too. There's the David Kidd, Harlow and Hyder versus the Treats and Diego Reyna. The Flocking Brawlers, which is Casey Blackrose and
Brandon Weiss.
Thank you. Have an open challenge for the tag belt.
Somebody else who loves me so very much.
Yeah.
Wonder who's going to show up for that one. That's interesting.
Yeah. The Gutter Snake Izzy James, which, as we talked about before, we have known in the past as Too Much Metal and Unholy Gregory James against the fashionista Devin Carter, who's another one of the hybrid guys that are really showing up and really stepping out. Jesse James, who I've met in other places outside of wrestling, versus Stud Stash, who I don't know much about.
Who I've actually, Tina and I have known him for a long time before he got into wrestling, believe it or not.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know
Out
that.
of what? Could I ask?
He used to be a coworker of Tina's.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, he was always such a big wrestling fan too, and I would see him. Tina was coaching at the time. I would volunteer coach, talk with him about wrestling and stuff. He was always a big wrestling fan, and so we'd see him because he is a Harlandale grad. We'd see him at Frontier Bowl, and he had his whole Macho Man Harlandale get up, set up, and everything like that. So yeah, it is pretty cool to see him living his dream. And I've known him for a long time.
I did not know that. I might have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, but he's a really, really, really cool guy, and I'm actually very excited for him, where he's gone in his wrestling career too, what he's done. He's proof positive. It is never ever too late to live out your dream. So I'm
don't
excited for him.
Because I still hold on to the dream of Diamond Dallas Page because because at this point he started to be my example. So
yeah, so it's pretty amazing stuff. Yeah, so yeah.
Apparently Jesse James has from Kumite as his because now all I can hear is the Boondocks. Kumite, it's just, that's all I hear.
I know a couple of matches that Tommy's looking forward to. Claudia Del Solis versus Vanity for the
Yes, Lord.
RCW Phoenix Championship, which is vacant because who was it? Tommy Shiva's injured, correct?
Shiva's injured, and I'm so sad.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And then I know one that's going to be a hell of a match. Key Vibes versus Maddie Rinkowski. I Quit match for the women's championship. Let's see if Maddie is going to be main character or does Key Vibes make it a side character?
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, the main event is just like at least 3 of these matches on the card are like banger after banger after banger. So
yeah, we'll talk a little more about that too after the results of this weekend next week. That show is going to be next Saturday at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church. This Saturday is the Hybrid Experience at the Hybrid School of Wrestling. I don't have a graphic for it, unfortunately.
You're going to find something hybrid, but there. So some of the matches in there. So Harlow and Hyder being the faces.
Still sounds wrong.
Are what's that?
That still sounds wrong.
It's weird. They had a match at the last show against the Flocking Brawlers for the Hybrid Tag Team Championships, which were introduced. So now they're basically going at each other individually. It's Casey Blackrose versus JP Harlow in a singles match, and Joey Hyder versus Brandon Weiss in a singles match. There's also a 3-way for the women's title, which is Gia Michelle versus Maddie Rinkowski versus Key Vibes. So back-to-back weeks and very similar things. Maddie and Key are going to be going at each other for different women's championships. So, whatever happens this weekend, I'm sure will totally affect what happens the following weekend as that goes. A few other matches. David Kidd is going to face Johnny Rocket. There is a 6-person, which the Treats and Diego Reyna. The Treats Diego Reyna turned heel, kind of joined the Treats as like their understudy. They're part of their group now, and they are facing the 3. It's Tommy, another one of Tommy's best friends, Zakai Living. Who does he always team with? But
Eric Walker.
Eric, yeah, and then one other person who's always part of it. I need to pull that one up, but yeah, so it's a 6-man tag team on that one, and I think that's pretty much the whole card. But yeah, so it should be a fun little show there. Lots of good matches, and like you said, a lot of these things can affect. And Brandon Oliver is supposed to be there again. He was at the last show, and these things are gonna. So these things are in the same universe as RCW.
I was gonna say. So does Brandon Oliver qualify as like Kang the Conqueror? Because can he cross over through dimensions? Is he Doctor Strange in this?
I mean, I'm gonna think if anybody in the San Antonio wrestling world can, yes, it's Brandon. So I mean, that's my thought.
Yeah.
I think he can go between the universe.
I mean, he did show up at ACW once a long time ago.
I remember that.
I remember the shock on Tommy's face.
I legit could not believe it when he walked through that door.
No, that was really cool.
So
that should be a fun little show over at the Hybrid Wrestling School. Starts at 3:00 on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, a bit of wrestling news to discuss here. There's quite a lot going on in the world of wrestling, and I'm just gonna, Mike, you might have a few things here and there, but I actually want to start this up first by talking about Roxanne Perez. The storyline that has played out, at least last week, we saw very similar to the Shawn Michaels storyline from years ago, with the whole shots to the head, concussion thing. Hell of a match, and then collapse, which tell it was kayfabe, but there's a report coming out that this may be a cover for something. As we know, she's set to defend her title coming up pretty soon. I forget which show it is.
Stand Deliver?
Stand Deliver, WrestleMania weekend.
Stand Deliver, which is WrestleMania weekend, right? Okay. And but she hasn't been seen on TV since that happened. There really hasn't been any reports of it. But there's reports out there saying they're covering for something. Personally, I think she's just getting a little time off. It's she wasn't originally set to win the championship when she did. I'm sure that was going to happen later on, but they kind of fast tracked that with the whole Mandy Rose and all that stuff. So I'm just curious to know, like, are they what their plans of the story? What you guys are theorizing, what it could be, or is there some cause for some real concern here?
I think the thing that's most frustrating is the initial report that like it may be coming, covering something that you said came from Dave Meltzer, and he basically spent a paragraph, which could have been briefed in, the information is vague. Like he basically very wordily said, there's something, but there may not be something, but there may be something. Right.
Just say you don't know.
So it could be nothing, and it really could just be a storyline that they're intending to play out. But he threw this little wrench in the thing, so we don't know for sure. And I think the thing too that like makes me a little weary of it being a legitimate injury thing, but I guess they kind of did that with Sean too, is you had the match. So she clearly wasn't injured enough that she didn't have the match with Meiko Sakamura, right?
Satomura, yeah.
Satomura.
You're close.
Yeah.
Satomura, yeah.
But, then you do that afterwards. So initially when it happens, and then I heard the announcement, my thought was just, like on the last show before, she was going to say she's cleared, and then she winds up basically defending her belt in the ladder match as opposed to it just being like for the new champ. But I don't know. That's kind of where my initial thought was. With this report, I don't know.
As it stands right now, she still holds the championship. Nothing's been stripped of it. Yeah. So, yeah. Interesting. Any theories, Tommy, on your side of things? Or?
I'm on similar lines. It's like it could be that they're just kind of building her up for something more, or like I say, maybe giving her time off. I don't know. The information is too vague right now. I still think it's all kayfabe as far as the actual injury. So I think I forget what platform I was on. Like, if it's either YouTube or Facebook or whatever. And someone said, and some commenter said, I've worked in the medical field for years. If that was real, those are the worst EMTs I've ever seen. So that was part of it. So
yeah, because like, I mean, I don't think anybody thought it was fake but like for a split second I was like, but they got like everybody got in that ring way too quickly. Like within 5 seconds there were like 13 people in the ring, and I was like, okay, if this was real, it would have taken way much more time. So that happened, but then again, I don't know where they're going with it. So
yeah, same.
We'll see. It makes me wonder if there's any other Shawn Michaels storylines they're going to recycle.
Well, or he has to. Well, if that's true, she has to be a tree, but she gets the DDT. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What if this is to get her off NXT, and she joins Damage Control at WrestleMania?
Okay, Mike's fantasy booking now.
Yeah, no, totally, 100%.
I feel like she'd have to lose her smile before that would happen.
True.
Just throwing it out there.
Well,
so,
I mean, you could even have the storyline because they were the reasons he was eliminated at the Rumble, but then you do the turn and you join Bayley, and I mean, what can be worse? What could be bad about joining Bayley's group? I mean, let's be honest.
I don't think you'd have any complaints if she said, "Okay, we're opening up to male fans. Who's in?" I think Mike would drive to Florida.
Oh, Tommy, you know what? I'm surprised you didn't ask when we were talking about like the future and what Jazmin was looking forward to. I'm surprised you didn't go, Mike. Bayley versus Jazmin in the future. Who you choosing?
Okay, the only reason I didn't say that, and this is true, is because we were trying to shy from doing too much of that, and that's the only reason. I had that idea in mind, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and keep this strictly to her.
My connection is I don't what.
Whatever. Yeah, yeah. That's what
I would.
But I'd have made you say in the line. I'd be like, "Nah, man, answer the damn question."
Mike, I see your eyes moving.
Maybe we'll do something like that a little later on. All right. Some other story that's come out, and this has actually made it onto one of my favorite sports talk shows, which is Around the Horn, by the way.
Oh, Lord.
The idea that there's a potential that there could be illegalized betting on scripted WWE matches. Yes. Which any wrestling fan will tell you that is a bad idea. So, obviously, this is something that would have to be checked very, very seriously. I don't even know how you could legally place a bet, especially if you work for said company.
That
or
was
any
my
company for
thinking
that
when I
matter.
saw that. I was like, it's like,
Yes.
no, what? What about the people who work there or know someone who
Or-
works there?
Yeah.
The first time someone hits like, whatever the big trifecta, whatever the betting things are, where you like get all of them right.
Right.
How are you not going to be immediately suspicious that they don't know someone who works, WWE or that whole thing, amongst other things. Like, I mean, I know we've like pulled a Tez on this show before, but like for the betting thing,
I mean, well, given my track record, if you're asking me to bet on NPW matches,
Okay,
I got a
first of all,
shot,
we're not-
but
we're
you
not
know,
talking
I
about that. We're not talking about that. I still blame you for what happened in February. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
wait, so you're upset
I
about
don't
what
think-
happened
I
in
didn't-
February?
You know what, Mike?
yeah.
I'm asking
I'm
you.
just saying it was a good thing. It was smart booking, if you ask me. So, and I really hope Jazmin got paid for what she did because
I hate this
they
shit.
had a deal.
I don't on
Um,
that part. That part I don't agree. But anyway.
But related to this, and if you have thoughts on this, please share. I mean, this opens. Okay, I know for the fact that this to make it on ESPN, which by the way, it was covered great. Somebody said, talk about scripted match. Somebody said there, what's scripted is still real to me.
That's
damn
good.
it,
That's good.
But I would say this is just a bad idea from the start. It opens up a lot of doors. Mike, we were talking earlier about this. You had mentioned
Yeah, so I
about
was
some
going to ask
regulations
you,
about
did
to
they
follow.
mention anything about that on Around the Horn?
No, it was around the horn. I think it was a couple days ago, but this is
okay.
when the news had first
So-
broken. So it was before they got any more detail
all
about
I
it.
saw
Yeah.
was a clip, but it was Lance Storm talking. So it wasn't BS, and it was pretty legit from what he would think. It's Lance Storm, but he implied in the clip that the results would have to be given to the gaming commission or whoever 3 hours before the event started, because he was making the analogy. Okay, let's say you give the results in, and they're in, and then.
Yeah.
You tell, and he used John Cena and Austin Theory. You tell John Cena, you're losing to Austin Theory tonight, and John Cena says, no, I'm not. What are you going to do? You can't change the results because you've given them in. And I started having thoughts about like, okay, what was the biggest meme for the last several years of Vince in charge of the company and booking? Oh, the entire script for Raw was torn up an hour and a half before showtime. And the whole thing was rewritten. How many times do we hear? It was like 2 years at least straight where you heard that every Monday. You can't do that now. I also told JC, okay, we know mistakes happen. Someone gets knocked out. The ref misses the count. They pull an Eva Marie and forget they're supposed to kick out. What happens then?
Somebody gets accidentally eliminated for the Rumble.
Right.
They call an audible for whatever reason. Another Montreal screw job. Let's just throw that out there too as well. First of all, I don't know why you would even say you have to have results 3 hours before. Like, what is Vegas going to stop taking bets at that time? I don't get it.
I guess they have to have the information set so they can do the lines and all that, right? No.
No, I mean, well, the lines should be done like well in advance. I mean, there's already lines for next year's Super Bowl that you can bet
but okay,
on.
if you say that, what if a show is made at the beginning of the night, or a match is made at the beginning of the show in storyline, right? Can you do that anymore? Or
I mean, you could if they want to throw. It's up to the casino or the sports books to throw a line out on that impromptu. But ideally, generally, like, I mean, if you want to use, let's use March Madness for example. They'll have the lines on games almost immediately. Like, we already know some of the matchups that are going to happen in 2 days based on results today. There's already some Vegas betting odds there. Now, of course, Vegas actually throws prop bets out. So if you want to do, say, the Royal Rumble, you can do prop bets on who's the first one getting eliminated, who's the first one, something like that. Yeah. So there's something like that.
Or also, I mentioned one other thing. How much are you going to piss off bettors if they do that wrestling trope of, oh, someone got the win by cheating. Oh, no, a ref or a good guy comes down and tells the ref or, oh, actually he cheated. We need to let this match continue. I'd be pretty pissed off, though, if that happened. I thought I won the bet, and then it changes.
Think back to WrestleMania when it was Brock versus Roman Reigns. Everyone was betting on either one of them, and all of a sudden Seth Rollins gets inserted into the match. Look, the point is, don't do it.
Jason said, like what you just showed.
Yeah. Come on. It's like... Anybody ever been in medieval times? You think we're going to take bets on that? That's scripted, but it can be a different winner every night.
Medieval times doth real to me.
Yes. The point is, betting in sports, being legalized sports betting, has long been an issue. For so many years, you could only do it in Las Vegas. It's now slowly being expanded out to other states. Jersey's trying to get in on it. Technically, it's legal everywhere. It's up to the states to regulate that. But now, I mean, like, some stadiums offer in-house betting. They show odds and stuff when you look when they're previewing a college football game on College Game Day on ESPN, for crying out loud. I get results on my phone of, like, say, the Astros games, and it's telling me what hit. Here was the over. Here's who won this, plus or minus, whatever. So, betting is such a big thing in sports. It's such a big thing. If you get wrestling involved with that, you're going to destroy everything that you've built up as a sports book. You really are. It's going to have to be regulated a bit differently. And honestly, if you're trying to do this as a series, if this is something Vince McMahon is pushing to have another revenue stream, you got to have a sport where the winners aren't predetermined to do that. It's plain and simple, that's kind of the hate, because how do we know, someone's the odds come out on this match, someone on the inside is finally going to find a way through a third party or whatever, hey, place a bet on this underdog and he's actually going to win, you're opening up the door for a lot of bad things to happen, and I just don't think it's a good idea. I agree
100%.
So, but I think this has just gotten people talking.
Yeah,
so.
I was like, the second I heard, the first thing I thought was, that's so stupid. Why is he doing that? But
yes.
Why are you guys so dumb?
But I mean, basically, Vince, why are you Vince? Why are you Vince?
Right. We've done it just when we watch pay-per-views, but ours is different. You're drawing a random number at the Royal Rumble and hope you get the person you want coming out at that number, right? We've done drawing random names for Money in the Bank ladder match, drawing whoever your entrant is into Elimination Chamber, for crying out loud. There's so many different ways to do that. It's just, or Survivor Series one way or another, but it's just, those are different ways to do it where it's completely by chance. When you're actually betting on, I'm legit betting on this person to win this match, anything can happen. So, someone gets all the scripts, whatever. Yeah. It's just, it's too much of a hassle, I think. Any other news come out, Mike, that you had found? Because there's a
so I think we talked about Taya Valkyrie showing up in AEW. We talked about Kylie King getting signed to Impact.
Yeah.
Again, there's some AEW stuff we can talk about, but we can kind of tie that in to the Revolution stuff here. What else was there? I think those were the main things. Yeah, like AEW and Impact were doing some good shows. What's up, Daniel? Thanks for supporting us, man. We appreciate it.
Sir.
By the way, real quick, last weekend at Morphicon, Daniel killed it. Legacy of Nerds.
Yeah,
He's still got interviews coming out. He got like 7 or 8. So go check his channel on the Countdown City Geeks as he continues to have interviews with tons of Power Rangers from this past weekend. He had one hell of a weekend.
They're really cool. They're really cool interviews.
Yeah.
It's funny you mention Taya Valkyrie because yesterday we got an alert that she was showing up in AEW. and wrestling Jade Cargill. You guys know my wife Tina's disdain for Taya Valkyrie and our collective disdain for Jade Cargill. So it begs the question that I should have posed this to her, but she was already tired. But who would you rather have win the match? Taya Valkyrie or Jade Cargill?
Yeah, for me it's Taya Valkyrie. That's not even
Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah, for Tina, she probably couldn't even answer that.
We'll see.
She can't stand
it's funny. It's different for me because I actually just I get Mike's disdain, but I honestly don't really mind Jade at all. I really don't.
I never said I have disdain.
You showed
Tina's
it.
But
well, let's just put it this way.
But honestly, if you're asking me who I think is just a better champion overall, I'm sorry. I've never had a problem with Taya Valkyrie. I really haven't. So that's who I pick.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's play a little game. Would you rather here, Tommy? Who would you rather win the AEW World Championship? Havoc or La Rosa Negra?
Oh, use a bitch for that. Oh, use a bitch for that. Oh, use a come on, man! I can't answer that. What the hell?
All right. Well, while he's thinking about it, Mike, let's go with you. You have to pick one to win a championship, a major champion like this big championship, but the other cannot win one. And I'm saying either Claudio Castagnoli has to win the AEW World Championship, or Bayley has to win either the Raw or SmackDown Women's title.
You're saying one person wins it and the other person can never win it again?
Yeah. Yeah. Who would you rather if you had to pick one?
I'm going to go with Claudio because even now, what Bayley's doing without a belt is pretty incredible. And he's older. I mean, he's in ridiculous shape, so he could probably still do this till he's 55. But
I mean, Sting still does, so I don't see why.
Yeah, so I think about that, but I feel he deserves it. An AEW run, and then also, time goes on. She loves wrestling. Maybe Pamela Martinez shows up on Dynamite one day. Maybe she reunites with.
Her actual name.
I like how you did that.
Maybe she reunites with her old friend Mercedes Moné, and they take over another company for a little bit. So it's not an easy one.
The CEO and Squeeze connection, the CEO and Embrace connection.
Yeah.
No, Ding Dong, Ding Dong money. I don't know.
Here's and Jason answered. He said Rosa over Havoc for you, Tommy, on your question. Here's one for you, Mike. Who would you rather have return to WWE? The Bella Twins or Eva Marie?
Well, the Bella Twins aren't returning to WWE. I can deal with the Garcia twins a little bit more now. Because I know WWE is no longer going to try to convince me that they are the greatest wrestlers on the earth at the moment. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of them talking because I did send that post.
Yeah, you did.
We're back, and I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say. Yeah, I guess the Bellas. I don't know. All right, hold on, Tommy. No.
Tommy, you're trying to answer.
Let's turn this around, Tommy.
Oh shit.
JC.
Thank you.
I was
have
waiting
a
for you.
triple threat.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
And the two losers have their entire wrestling history erased from the books.
Oh my god!
You can it's one of those. You can only keep one of these. Okay.
Oh my lord.
It is Mandy Rose.
Oof.
Alexa Bliss.
I know where he's going with this.
But see, I feel like it's almost too easy of an answer. Let's do it. Gail Kim.
Yeah. It's got to be Gail. She did so much for women's wrestling. That's too easy of an answer. And let's be honest, Mandy Rose is doing pretty well for herself outside of wrestling.
Can you
not through a fault of her own.
I'll ask you later.
No, I have to find it again. No. And Alexa, I think one of the reasons I've always liked, obviously because she's great. I love her charisma. She's kind of the ultimate underdog too with wrestling too. So, but if you're giving me those three,
I thought
it's
about
definitely
that.
Gail.
I was like, yeah, he'll definitely take that.
Yeah.
It's got to be Gail. I mean, think of all she did for women's wrestling too. Just those matches, the beginning of the Knockouts Championship just set the tone for how that division was going to be an Impact and the real women's revolution.
What
in
if
general,
I switch it to what you gave me? One of them can win a title again. One of them can never win a title again. But just Alexa versus Mandy.
Boy. I'm gonna say Alexa
Really?
Bliss.
Also, because Mandy's out.
Yes, I'm gonna say Alexa. I mean, honestly, I don't really think Mandy needs to win a title again. Everything she did with the NXT Women's title, amazing.
I can't argue with you on that one.
That's up there with any heel title run. It's up there, even to the point where she unified it with the NXT UK Women's Championship. That pissed people off. It was great.
Great photo shoot. Too.
But I think with yeah. I think with Alexa, it's more also because she's been there, she's back down, she's done this whole Bray Wyatt storyline. If she's able to get back to that, that would do wonders for her. Not to say that she hasn't had a great career, that would be legendary, I think. So
fair enough.
All
right, Tommy.
Now, Tommy, you still need to answer Rosa or Havoc.
I'll have to go with Rosa Negra. And primarily because No, actually, I don't know if she has been wrestling longer. I feel like I've known about her longer than I know about Jessica Havoc, but that doesn't mean she's been wrestling longer. But I feel like a lot more people have seen Havoc because of like Impact. Rosa Negra needs to be seen by more people. Damn it! So So I would pick either one of them. I'll pick Rosa Negra to be AEW Women's Champion, and for no other reason to also get her out of NWA because that's great and all, but I'm hoping Tony Khan signs her soon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm trying to think of some other fun ones. I've actually come up with these off the top of my head, to be honest with you. I just had this idea because of the Taya Valkyrie Jade Cargill thing. So if you guys are out there watching, if you have some ideas, throw it out there.
Hold on, wait. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, I forgot that's where we started with this. I don't really dislike her this much, Taya that much. Like, I think if anything, it's just because Tina was always like, I don't like her, and I was like, okay, maybe I don't either. But no.
Well,
and it's not even that I hate Jade. It's just they've done nothing with her. I don't know if they're waiting for Statlander to come back, but her title defenses are such crap. Like even this past week, I know it was a vehicle to introduce Taya, but why do you got to take Nicole Matthews and squash her in 30 seconds?
I was upset about that. I was upset about that.
That's what bothers me. Yeah, you're kind of squashing all these big talents.
Match is better than like the 30-second one they had. That was ridiculous.
As old school ACW fans who got to see her and Portia Perez, who commented on her Twitter, by the way,
she's still on Twitter.
Yeah, I didn't know either until Nicole Matthews posted that she's taking bookings in America too. And so don't worry, I already tagged RCW and BOW, and don't worry. The second I saw that, I sent it to Terry immediately.
No.
But it's the fact, dude. If I win the lottery ever, I'm just gonna tell Clint, look, I got this from now on.
I'm gonna give you a list and a check.
I'm gonna give you a list.
Do
just call
whatever
them.
You need to do.
You just call them. You tell me how much it is. We'll work it out. So, but so I just that's what I don't like. So I do agree with that part. It's so for me, it's not a problem with her so much. It really is about that kind of booking because, and I think for us it's just personal because we love Nicole Matthews from all her time here at ACW. So that's personal.
Been trying to think of one I could do for you guys around.
Okay, I got one.
All right.
One team's their history has to stay, but the other two teams, their entire history is gone. The Briscoes, LOD, and the Steiners. I knew was going to get Mike especially.
Golly.
So one team, whichever team wins, you keep their entire history, but the other two teams gone forever.
Look, you know where I got to go with this because they are my favorite tag team of all time, and you know, with no disrespect to the Briscoe family or the Laurinaitis and the other family, I forget Michael Hennigan, whoever Hawk was. It's got to be the Steiners for me because if you put early '90s WCW Steiners in wrestling today, with
they'd kill it.
The types of tag teams you have, the Bucks, FTR, the Usos, the matches they could put on, and the fact that Scott Steiner at that point would stand up with any of these moves and dudes, you know, these guys that are doing crazy moves nowadays, it would be ridiculous. You know, LOD was probably the biggest of all those tag teams, like as far as fan and crowd reaction.
Yeah.
But they also just kicked the crap out of people with there weren't a lot of wrist locks and headlock takeovers in those matches. It was military presses, kicks, punches, and power slams. The Briscoe's a hard one, obviously.
Yeah.
Because they are so good, but just for me, my heart's with the Steiners. So yeah, that's where I'd have to go.
JC?
Probably Steiners. Yeah, the Steiners are just legendary. So, and the Briscoes too. That's tough. It's still hard to believe they're not going to tag. They're not going to wrestle everyone.
I remember watching anytime Mark Briscoe's in front of the camera being himself still, I'm like, dude, how? Like, but it's like I'm not like trying to be set all the time. I'm just like, dude, you're amazing. How are you? I mean, I'm sure he has his moments where he's just like, man, and I don't blame him. But like the fact that he can still pull himself out and entertain everybody else is amazing to me.
Yeah.
I would say it's his therapy. It's his way of paying tribute to his brother too. So, all right, Tommy, you have to cheer for one the rest of your life, and you can boo the other. Jazmin Allure or
Damn it! I knew you were gonna say that too.
And just remember, we talked about this too. Do you want to get on the bad side of a Latina woman?
That is actually a big part of it. You're right. That's a huge part of it. You're right.
I like how as we're going through these, we're just like kind of throwing out little YouTuber spoilers.
Now I'm talking. You would have to be a super fan of one. Like I don't care if Lance Archer is wrestling in the main event of New Japan against Okada.
If that's true, though, we already have footage of him cheering.
I hate
people.
You, because I'm positive you have like a special folder on your freaking phone that just has that there. So whenever you need to pull it up,
I literally didn't. I literally just scrolled down to my pictures from that show. But
bullshit. Bullshit! I'm calling bullshit that you have a folder.
That's been saved as a favorite.
It's in a special folder on your phone. I don't believe.
With all due respect, Tommy. There's several folders on my phone, but you're not one of them. Calm down.
Anyway, this is talking like I don't care if Archer's the main eventing Wrestle Kingdom against Okada. Still got to cheer for Archer. I don't care if Jazmin Allure is main eventing WrestleMania against Asuka. You still got to cheer Jazmin Allure.
A triple threat against Asuka and La Rosa Negra, night 2 of WrestleMania.
Oh my God.
First of all,
who are you cheering for the rest of your life, given that choice?
Let me use my F-bomb on the show and use it for Mike, so fuck you, Mike. Because how dare you put that scenario in my head, son of a bitch.
It's a Sophie's choice. I just, if we're going to do it, let's do it right.
Yeah.
Damn.
See, okay.
The world wants to know.
You answer, because all of a sudden I thought of one for myself.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Shit. I don't know. I'd probably end up cheering Jazmin because arguing with Lance is almost too fun not to do. So
Jason, we know where he went.
Jason just says,
he just picked Oscar. Yeah. So,
all right, so we have it on record, Jazmin.
This has been this is like the worst day of my life so far. Like legit.
I honestly, I literally just got this idea thinking if I were to pose that question, Tina, just for that, and then just
my
blossom,
what was
you know?
yours? Because now I'm curious.
So for me,
Yeah, I'm curious to know.
How about Stephanie McMahon versus Charlotte Flair
Oh my god.
versus one of the Bellas, the one I hate or dislike? I don't really hate them. Versus Eva Marie.
Nicole, probably.
No.
Oh,
You know
Jesus.
what? Maybe Brie, so she could play her theme music, because that's one of the most annoying things in the history of ever.
Okay.
Remember Brie mode and then like EDM music or whatever it was?
Okay, as much as little as I hold against the Bellas, that Brie mode ish did get on my last nerve. I'm not gonna lie.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. All right.
Yeah,
so
so-
you have to cheer for one of those three forever, and then boo the rest
Yeah.
forever. So, yeah. What would you pick? Because
Ooh,
I feel
Mike.
like you'd rather.
Well, let's guess. Yeah, me and Tommy
Yeah,
can guess. Go ahead, Tommy.
I would say, given those choices, you'd pick Charlotte, just because at least she can have really good matches. So yeah, I think you'd pick Charlotte, honestly.
Okay.
Okay. There's no way he would take
No way.
Stephanie. No way he would take either of the Bellas, given how Tina mentions. He's like, what? You know? For God, if you took Eva Marie over Charlotte, something wrong with you. I would have to say Charlotte, too, given the choice. Because at least she knows she's doing it in the ring.
There's a wild card at play here, though.
What's that? What's the wild? What's the wild card?
Someone's cashing in a title shot.
The Bellas are Hispanic. I guess it was Eva Marie.
Uh-huh. They never promote
They do
themselves as
now. They're the
Hispanic, so don't give me
now
that.
they do. They're the Garcia twins.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
God.
For the first year of their lives, suddenly they're Hispanic. So
But see, here,
Yeah.
like, I know the way y'all are thinking about this,
Mm.
and you know I try not to hate on things as much, but trying to watch Charlotte Flair be a face, oh my God!
Who says you need to be a face? It's just who you're cheering for.
yeah, she might be a
But
fiend.
that's what I
You
mean.
still cheer
Like-
for Jazmin.
Well, yeah, she's not okay.
Yeah.
You know, like Stone Cold said at WrestleMania 14. Let's take Jazmin and put her out of the equation, right? Remember the let's take Deborah and take her out of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
JC goes
We're on the
Brie.
equation. Bam,
Yes.
she's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Like,
He made his choice.
yeah, so yeah, definitely Stephanie. Like, no way, no how, never. I don't care if in real life she's like the nicest person that everybody in the back is like, oh, we love her and we're so sad that she's no longer working here. On TV, worst character
I
ever.
forgot that happened. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I think I guess I have to agree with you, but that's a hard one because yeah, like her promos. Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember when she was trying to like take Becky's heat when she was becoming the man, or WWE was trying to like give her the heat to like say things and she couldn't, and Becky was still outshining her. If she doesn't talk and wrestles, yeah, I could probably cheer her. If I have to listen to promos, though, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are fans of the show and you've been listening and watching us for a long time, comment, give us some ideas on a would you rather thing that might be such a difficult decision for any one of us. Myself, Tommy, Mike, or even my wife Tina, if she's on here. You can tweet them at us at CCG_WrestleCast. Comment here on this video, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook. Let us know what you would throw out there as a toughie. And even ones for yourself, too, if you want. Maybe we can answer those in future episodes as well. So, all right. Now, I know you guys talked a bit about it last week, but let's kind of dive a bit more into AEW Revolution and what has happened since then. Because quite a bit has. You guys went over the results last week. You guys, I assume, gotten to watch the show. since then. I unfortunately have not. But one match I did watch for sure was MJF versus Bryan Danielson because I had to see that hour and however extra long they went. So
5 minutes, I think they went another 5 minutes, I believe.
5 or 7.
yeah,
So,
something like that.
Quick
So,
question. Well, you haven't seen it, or you did watch it one. Was that the most action-packed Iron Man 60-minute Iron Man match that you can remember? Because, like, if you go back and watch Sean Brett from WrestleMania 12 or 11, whatever it was, there's a lot
12.
of, like, arm bars and rest holds. I went back and watched it years later, and there was a lot more rest holds than I mean, they hit some action spots. I feel like these two, and, as much as you, and maybe it's me, don't want to admit that MJF is, like, a good wrestler. He was in shape. They were going all out.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
For 60 minutes,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, the last Iron Man match that I recall being really excited about because of how much action there was, I believe it was a 30-minute. Was it Bailey and Sasha
that
Banks?
was good.
Did
Yeah,
they do an
yeah.
Iron Man? Yeah.
I actually,
but yeah, 60.
I
whew.
have 2 other Iron Man matches that I like to go back to. This might be this one might be my new first place one, but it's my new first place. So my third favorite one was actually like Rock and Triple H. I think it was a Judgment Day. So chaotic.
Okay, yeah.
I like chaos sometimes in wrestling. But was my original number one, if you remember this one, it was Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. It was on an episode of SmackDown in 2003. Yeah, SmackDown. It's 2003. Yeah, it was because they were still doing the split pay-per-view thing, so Raw would have a pay-per-view one month and SmackDown would have a pay-per-view the next month, and then they would come together for the week before. So they didn't have a pay-per-view that month, so they had a really big show because like the week or 2 weeks before, Kurt Angle wrestled The Undertaker for the belt, and then Brock Lesnar got involved. So that following week was a Iron Man match between Kurt Angle and Brock. Back when Brock Lesnar wasn't insufferable.
Yeah.
There were
yeah, I did kind of forget about those. Those are some good shout-outs there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one was really good.
I think this one though, it was so well booked. I mean, you went about halfway through the timer before you got a pin. And it's kind of a way to have MJF not only take a pin but also take a submission and still at least show he's human, but still he's walking away with the championship because getting Danielson to submit at the end.
Yeah,
wow,
we talked about this a little bit. Like there were some weird things like the quick 2 pins or whatever that MJF gets, like where he just stood up and then went back down. Like
smart.
I thought there was like rules in the Iron Man that you normally couldn't just keep pinning back to back. Like you had to have like there's a pin, now there's like 10 seconds and then we start. I don't know. I
always understood, at least with the WWE Iron Man matches, I think if you had a pin, they had to get back to their feet before you go to the next fall. Yeah. But this one was, think about it, like from a psychology perspective, he gave up the point with the DQ, but he used that to get a roll up, and then he got another one on top of it just to tie the score.
In the context of MJF being heelish, it was just a weird thing because that's not something they usually allow to happen or do happen. But yeah, I
know in the video game they make you get to your feet. But,
we know video game rules.
But just for you said it, how action packed it was, how pinfalls back and forth. Those last 10 minutes of regulation was just amazing. And then you get the. I had a feeling they had to go sudden death. Yeah. It was for sure. You couldn't have it end that way. That was just.
I guess you're right, Jason. I guess I gotta brush up on my separate rule books.
You don't do that WWE Iron Man mess over here. We do AEW style. So.
Yeah. Think about it. You could have just knocked him out with a ring and then just kept getting pins over and over.
So, two interesting things in the fallout from that match. The Dynamite after that, so last Dynamite, not the one this past Wednesday, week before, they showed a video of Daniel Bryan basically talking about maybe it's time for him to go home. So I think he may be taking some time off for a little bit.
Mhm.
And then leading to this week, I don't know if you've had a chance to see MJF's re-bar mitzvah, but they basically set up their Four Pillars match,
Hilarious.
or the potential of the Four Pillars match, where he comes out and then gets interrupted by Jungle Boy, then Sammy, then Darby.
And I say make it a 5 pillars match and just throw in Britt Baker because.
Yeah, that a lot of people see Britt retweeted. A lot of people are like, "What about the actual fourth pillar? What about the fifth pillar?" Which, yeah,
Yeah, and that I'll be honest with you, with the response, I think they did that to see what the response would be like to that, and it's been positive. I think people would love to see that Double or Nothing for sure. Because why do it before?
And I got to give it to MJF. At the end of that whole fracas, after they started attacking each other, took the total cake bump into the table from the apron. And if you watch it, like, he makes sure to land directly on the cake, and then he rolls over, so like the cake gets all over him. Like, he played his part really well. So that was a good segment.
I will say maybe I'm biased, but I like Darby's pitch the most because I like what he said. He said, "You know what I'm gonna do? You don't give me a match. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna complain about it on Twitter. No, seriously, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna kick your face in with my skateboard." I was like, "Damn, that escalated quickly."
Yeah.
but that whole segment I thought was pure gold because when you really think about it, you just had the 4 guys who you've been saying are the real future of this company this whole time really be the present now. And honestly, the fan response was so positive. You're like, it's believable. It's great. Let's do this thing. And it's one of the cases where I kind of don't care who wins, even if it is MJF, because the fact that these 4 are getting that main event spot that they've really been working for the whole time really does say a lot to the booking of the company. And you kind of got to give some props to people that letting them build up and get to this point. I mean, honestly.
Another thing I love, and I think it was either Jungle Boy or Darby, but they were like, "Have you ever had a match on Dark or Dark Elevation?"
That was Jungle Boy, and I love that
because we all have.
I love that.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. What Tony Schiavone said, the truth hurts, doesn't it, buddy?
That was almost a weak argument in a way because you're just making MJF look better than you when you say that. And it's not to say that like you're just kind of playing into how he was like, well, I don't need that.
But I think,
I'm already the best.
You're not wrong,
but the point is like we've worked our way up.
I will say
what he was trying to say.
Yeah, but I will say I love the hypocrisy of Max, and that's like one of my favorite things about MJF. He is such a hypocrite. Yeah. And because he's like goes to Sammy, you've got Jericho, goes to Jungle Boy, you had Christian, goes to Darby, you had Sting, who did I have? Nobody. And I remember watching thinking, motherfucker, you had Cody, Jericho, William Regal, Stud Spears, Warren, like motherfucker, who did you have?
See, to me, I keep saying this because I do get annoyed with him sometimes when he does the low-hanging fruit promos, when he tries to be, ooh, look at me shooting. But when he does that kind of stuff and he's blatant in your face, like, I know I'm lying, you know I'm lying.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do it because that's what I love when he gets like that.
Yeah, well, it's just like you're looking so you used to be Tyler the Creator all of a sudden. So that was a freaking lie. But
now on top of this, they're setting up Double or Nothing. You mentioned your whole low hanging fruit. We say the people have joked about what's the formula for an MJF feud, earn their spot. The 4 pillars thing is good. Like he's not going to put them to the ring. They've been through it, so it's going to be amazing. I do need to shout out for sure this new stable, the Outcasts, that Saraya is leading with Tony Storm and Ruby Soho.
I kind of like them. Yeah,
I love it.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, I don't know if you saw the recent one of their photo shoots. I was like, ooh, actually, that looks pretty cool.
We had to have this discussion though, and we had it last week, Tommy. But logically speaking, it makes Saraya and Ruby look dumb. Because if Ruby was always going to join them, that gave him a two-on-one advantage that they never utilized. So Tommy surmised that she had to have made the decision after the pinfall, but they kind of made it seem like it was always the plan. But logically, there's like a flaw in that because then it just makes them look dumb because they still lost.
Yep.
But it was a good match, and I like a heel Ruby,
Yeah.
and I don't know why. No matter what she does, people will never stop finding stupid reasons to try and shit on Pei or Saraya. Like it sucks following her on Twitter sometimes because half the time she's just having to like clap back at people that are trying to tear her down. It's like, geez, man.
It's one of the cases where I really do feel like it's the people who can't get past the whole scandal she was a part of all those years ago. I really do feel like that's the reason. People just can't get past like, that she had sex and some people saw it. It's like I feel like there are people who are just like, oh look, she had sex with other people, and I'm just like, yeah, we've covered that, but it happened and we've moved on. Yeah,
Move on. It happened. Like she's gone through therapy for that. She's dealt with that.
I just.
I mean, I don't know what there is to hate about it.
Well,
like
it's that, and people are just still. It's also the mindset of wrestling fans who they ruin everything. That's why I said I posted this. We said it before on the show, but I posted a couple weeks ago. I said, man, nobody hates pro wrestling more than pro wrestling fans. Nobody.
Yeah.
You are not wrong.
Can't be mad about someone who's had a movie made about their lives. One of those documentary and two, the actual movie with The Rock had a hand in. And as she said, outside of some other things that happened in the movie, it was pretty accurate for some of the events, So, and this is a lot. So, and I can't help but be proud of her for, the severe injury that she's had to come back from.
Yeah, for sure.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
And then we also just talked briefly, because speaking of that, so Ruby Riott had the promo last Wednesday. Ruby Soho.
Mm-hmm.
And at first it sounded like it was going to be a generic, you people turned me heel promo, which I was like, eh. But then she literally brought out receipts of like, remember the time I faced Chris Statlander and y'all booed me? Remember the time I faced, Britt Baker and y'all booed me? Whoever. And we're like, no, yeah, those are all legit things that happened.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah. And that's smart. I mean, you feel like they're documenting this stuff like in the back, which people should have been doing for years. It's like the exact opposite of what WWE's been doing.
Never having continuity. Yeah.
I told Mike
exactly.
JC, I was like, it was like watching the first Black Panther and hearing Killmonger talk. You're like thinking, damn, he got a really good point there.
and she even said like, y'all begged Saraya to come back. Y'all begged her to come back. And then she did, and you turned on her within a sec, with no time at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah.
And again, I was like, okay. Again, I was like, okay, is this a promo or is she just getting a lot of stuff off her chest? I'm cool if it's both. I'm just asking.
Yeah, clearly both.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready to share some WrestleCast ratings then for AEW Revolution?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, pick results. Tina had 1-0 because she won the MJF match. Mike and Tommy 5-3, and I went 6-2. Again, I've only seen one match on the card, so I'm gonna leave the ratings up to you guys. And Mike, we'll start with you. 0-5. 5 your WrestleMania 17, 0 December. Just remember, you're rating for AEW.
I'm gonna go with 4.75. This was a really good show. We didn't even talk about Moxley versus Hangman, which we thought was done. And then it's not done. Hangman kind of reuniting with Dark Order. Stu Grayson came back this past Wednesday to join Evil Uno. Then at the end of that show, they set up the possible Elite reuniting with Hangman. So that's another storyline they have coming out of all this. On top of Blackpool Combat Club is just straight up heels now, and they're great at it. And Wheeler, it's actually kind of funny because Wheeler Yuta is now wind up usually doing like the cheating for them, which is kind of funny. And then Claudio's just good at whatever he does. So that's another thing. And people are like, are they setting up Blood and Guts again? Which I'll take that. So
it feels like sorry.
No, but so I guess going back to the 4.75, it was a good show, but I feel like they have a 5 in them coming this year. Now, whether that's Forbidden Door, because that was another thing we forgot to mention was announced in June,
Yeah,
or the
so
one
get to that.
before that,
Mhm.
which is May,
Double or
right?
Nothing.
Yeah. So
Yep. Mhm.
I want to say, like, I think they have a 5 in them this year. So
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Tommy, your rating.
4.75 as well. I was actually thinking the exact same thing. But also coming from the whole from the Outcasts, Soho and Soraya and Tony Storm, like they're like having like the what was it, Rio, Ruby, Willow Nightingale, and was it Sky Blue ran out to
Sky Blue, yeah.
yeah
Rio, yeah.
So they said someone said in the comments, oh yeah, they're definitely getting another member because that's got to be a blood and guts match coming up, and I'm like. And of course, my mind, 2 blood and guts matches in 1 year for 2 different storylines. Huh, you had me at hello. So yeah, I'm all for it. Let's and again, like I said, two solid two solid storylines, women concerning the women, like the AEW originals and the quote unquote Outcast, Ty and Jay Cargill. Yeah, let's make this happen. We could get a 5 and Double or Nothing. You never know, because that 4 pillars match is going to slap. I really, I again, it's really a case of, okay, if this is all this is building up to, I legitimately don't care who wins anymore. Just give me the damn match. So.
All right, overall rating 4.75 for AEW Revolution. Now, as Mike, what's up?
So I'm just looking at stuff and things that happens. There's a few other just little quick comments I want to make. So like in the tag team match, the Guns, the Guns retained. Lethal and Jeff Jarrett were in that match. Lethal, quote unquote, got hurt. But this past Wednesday, Jarrett had a match against Orange Cassidy for the now international title. And I heard this from Cultaholic, but I think it's so true because I know Tommy's totally down with Jeff Jarrett being back. I've not been the biggest fan of it, but they said something that rang so true. And it was like, is there a bigger fear as a wrestling fan than the potential of Jeff Jarrett getting that 3 count? And they do it every match he's in that you don't want him to win. He gets a pin, and you're like, dear God, no. Dear God, no. And, they kick out or whatever. And I was like, okay, it's true.
And honestly,
it is really true.
And I was like, that's the beauty of him being back. You don't want him to win so badly. You're just like, oh, sweet Jesus, no. So, also, hey, Don, what's up, man?
Hey, Don, how's it going, man?
But like, I tell you, look, because what's her name on TikTok who I follow, and she asked the question, why is Jeff Jarrett still winning matches? And I said, look, because there's nothing you hate more than seeing Jeff Jarrett win anything.
And I think I finally realized that.
There's nothing you love more than with a 3 count is he's on the receiving end of the pin and the match is over. You're like, and I think he knows that's how he keeps getting hired. He knows he is hated so much. He's like, oh my God, that's the money I'm making. It's money of hatred.
I think you're right. A couple other small things. Ricky Stark beats Jericho. We talked about that. The week after, we also talked about he gets attacked by David Finlay, who has now apparently declared himself leader, or Juice Robinson, sorry, under the Bullet Club banner. And David Finlay has apparently declared himself the new official leader of Bullet Club.
Oh,
so that could be interesting for Starks.
Yeah, I meant to mention real quick before you go on, Mike, because Gato, he's a hoe. Because he said something like, Jay White, who cares? I'm moving on. I just thought, the first thing I thought was, oh, these hoes ain't loyal. These hoes ain't loyal. It's a hoe.
You got to do that, man. Whether they love him or not in real life.
Yeah, I know, but I laughed at that too much.
Wardlow won the TNT title just to lose it to Hobbs the next week, and Hobbs is now aligned apparently with QT Marshall. And the Wardlow thing that we thought was legit about his rental car getting broken into, the TNT title stolen, was a work. And so they have this. Have you seen the new thing with QT Marshall where they do it like?
No, I haven't.
What's the TV show that does all the paparazzi news?
Oh, TMZ.
TMZ, but it's like QTV. So they have QT standing like at the cubicle, like the guy does, leaning over as they talk about all the stories.
Yeah.
And then it was Aaron Solo of his group in a hoodie. They actually showed the video of him breaking in. So everyone thought it was legit. They thought it was real. Wardlow came out to the next Dynamite with like an FTR shirt and his like gym shorts or something, and it was all a work. So kudos to AEW for pulling that one off. I wasn't huge on the quick change, but they fooled people on that one. And then the trios titles have had 2 bangers of matches. The one at Revolution where the House of Black wins, and then they had the triple threat trios this past Wednesday was the main event. Yeah, it's really good matches. So
AEW just had heat this past couple weeks. Can't lie.
Yeah.
I think it's what it is. AEW has learned, okay, we got to step up. We're gunning for us now, you know, and it's good. This is really going to be a test. This is what we want out of wrestling, right? So, looking at the future, as mentioned, AEW Double or Nothing is the next pay-per-view, May 28th from Las Vegas this year at the T-Mobile Arena, home of the Vegas Golden Knights. And then after that, just announced the Forbidden Door will be opened again between AEW and New Japan, this time taking place in Toronto, Canada, on June 25th. So
that crowd is going to be insane.
Yeah,
they are.
The second I saw, I was like, oh shoot, Forbidden Door is going to be awesome. I saw Toronto. Holy crap, that crowd's going to lose their shit at every single thing that happens that night. So.
Yes, and that's going to be epic. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And the only way that show's going to be a 5 is if Toriano shows up, plain and simple. You guys saying it's going to be a 5 this year? It's got to happen.
That should have been a question. I should have made you pick Toriano or someone else. That's I'm going to work on that and get back to you.
Yeah, set that up for next week, Tommy. I think you got some.
Oh, I got it. Toriano versus Toriano, because I think somehow he'd make it happen. I don't know how he'd figure it out, but he'd do it. So
wait, like 2020 King of Wrestling Toriano versus or whatever the years and
2021 King of Jesus.
Whichever years he wanted, yeah.
They're still going. It's Iron Man match and they're still in sudden death. That's basically what it is, you know. It's like asking Vince McMahon, what would you prefer, Omos or
God, did
Omos?
you see that TikTok?
Yes.
Like, these are Vince's favorite matches for WrestleMania. That was
5-way between Omos's with Omos as a special guest referee. Yes, great TikTok. All right, it's time then to move on to our 1-minute warning segment. Mike, do you have something this week? All right, ready, set, and
all right, guys. So as we mentioned toward the beginning of the show, we did an interview earlier today with top-tier Jazmin Allure, and it was a great thing. But all jokes aside for me and Tommy, I want to be honest, and I want to thank, first of all, Jazmin again for coming on. We found out how busy she was, and I don't know if that's something she wanted to share or not, but she has a lot going on, and she was like apologizing to us for taking a while to get back to us, and we were like, no, not at all, especially when we found out. But legitimately, whatever you see in the wrestling ring and at the matches, not her at all. She was the nicest person. We had such a great time, and honestly, she has a love and a mind for wrestling that I hope y'all see in this interview. And I really do think she has big things ahead of her. If you follow Bailey on social media and you see the way she loves wrestling and kind of wants to give back, I get that vibe from her too. So it's a really fun interview. Hopefully we'll have it up tomorrow. We'll post it all our social medias. It was a really nice thing. It was fun. Tommy was a good sport about everything, as he has been for almost a year now, because we mentioned where all the jokes started from with her and the situation that led to that. But really fun time, really great interview. So check that out once we get it up on the channel.
All right. Tommy, you got something this week?
I think we talked about everything I would have brought up, so I don't think I'm good this week.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I had something. I might have said everything.
That's what I was thinking too. Because like when we were talking, I was like, no, I think I talked about everything we were to talk about. Because I think one of my bigger things I would have brought up would have been like the whole Outcast thing, but we already talked about that. So I was like, oh no, we're good.
Yeah. So, all I'll say is I did the whole which would you rather happen thing. I thought that was always fun. So,
is
but
fun.
yeah, I've just enjoyed. I'm gonna take a minute to say this. Yeah, I might as well start the timer for myself. Why not, right? Proud of how far this show has come. I'm looking back on a year. God, I'm looking back on the pictures. I got the Facebook memories of us being at Dynamite. Some of us still wearing masks walking around. It was like that was like the first show for a lot of us live again with coming out of the COVID thing. And what a show we got to see. And it's just amazing looking back on a year. How much wrestling has continued to get better. WWE, once Vince McMahon retired, even though he came back, and Triple H was starting to run creative, they really stepped their game up. And people were starting to say, well, what's AEW going to do? And they listened. They are listening. People complaining about the whole recycled MJF storylines. Now they get a bit creative with it. Now they're pulling some stuff out. And I think this is the new heyday of wrestling. For us growing up, it was the whole WWE, WCW. Now we're getting some real competition, and I think it's all just getting started. It's hard to say that. Now we're like, what, 5 years into AEW?
Almost.
Feels like.
I think it's 4 years
And
right now.
I'm almost, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a
No, feel fine.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm just excited. I'm just excited for what the future holds, what my kids are going to get to grow up seeing, and I think my son is already set that he wants to be Orange Cassidy for Halloween this year.
Nice.
But we just got to work on getting a shirt printed with him dressed as Orange Cassidy on top of that with the sunglasses. So that would be the
I'm
costume.
gonna go hang out with y'all for Halloween this year.
Once you do that, you should totally take a picture of that and like tag Orange Cassidy, because I'm sure he'll be like, "That's cool" or whatever. So
Yeah, he's really good about responding to those type of things. But
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So Steady says great interview. He was of course in the background producing it, and yeah, thanks for stepping up to do that. And proud of you guys. This show's come a long way. Thank you guys for all your help with that. And as busy as I'm getting with my kids being in youth sports, which I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's been amazing. I'm glad you guys are able to get out there and get interviews and enjoy the shows, man.
Tommy, awesome. Can I take a portion of your 1 minute warning then?
Go for it.
Because if you're going to do that, and look, me and Tommy have had a lot of fun. Let's not forget, man, that you set the bar for this entire thing. Pre-COVID, you had interviews with Angel Blue and Brandon Oliver and the dude who ran Heavy Metal Wrestling and Don Dylan.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what I've been trying to do since this thing got started. And this show doesn't run without you, man. Even last week, like one of the few times that you weren't there, it's a little weird because I realized like you're just running things. And Steady, we love you. But every now and then Steady was throwing up some things and I was like, oh yeah, all right, we go with this. But yeah, so you have been the one that set up this whole thing. And it's not where it's at without you either. So thank you for all that. And Tina too, because y'all the three y'all started it. And I just joined in eventually.
Yeah, I know it's we're getting back to those eventually. I'm hoping we can make it to Mission Pro on the 22nd of April. I'm really just checking my daughter's tournament schedule and my son's with all that too. So all that stuff coming up. We're like planning ahead to summer, regional, sectional tournaments, all-star tournaments, World Series, and finding time to have a family vacation in there to coincide with Tina's 40th birthday. And thankfully, we found a time we're going to spend a week. I'll tell you guys after we get off the air, and we're pretty excited about it. So, yeah. But, yeah, and Steady said, I think he showed you guys the trailer of this on last week's show, Monster Factory on Apple TV+, which, by the way, also Ted Lasso is also Season 3. The final season is on Apple TV+, and first episode is a banger. So, I'm excited for it as well, too. So, lots of shows. It's great. So... All right, thank you everybody for watching the Countdown City WrestleCast, and believe me, this show doesn't get along without you guys and your interactions too as well. Again, this weekend, the Hybrid Experience, Road to Hybrid Mania, this Saturday, doors at 2, bell time at 3 p.m. at the Hybrid School of Wrestling. I believe tickets are limited, so visit the Happy School of Wrestling website and Facebook for more details on that as well. Next week, we are going to be we'll talk about the hybrid show, we'll talk about RCW Mania, but we're also going to be talking about Impact Sacrifice. The next event they have, and it's actually going to be another Friday night show. Happens to be my son's birthday as well. And that'll be what we're going to be discussing. And the week after that, it's finally talking WrestleMania. So this is kind of where we're tuning up for
Hello,
things
my
as well.
friend. We meet again. Been a while. Oh, that's my sacrifice. My bad.
There's a comedian I follow. Her name is Roxy Hayes. She had a post one time. It said, if you're black and like bands like Creed, Nickelback, whatever, then you watch wrestling in the 90s and 2000s. And I said, guilty.
I was just saying, Tommy, how long have you known this person? Because clearly she knows you.
Funny story,
Oh
I
my
met her at a
gosh.
convention. I really did. Before I knew she was a comedian, I met her at a convention.
Of course she did. That's awesome.
Hilarious. Again, also check out the Countdown City Geeks website, countdowncitygeeks.com. And before we sign off, I want to leave you guys with this. It is wrestling related. Let me put that back up so you guys can point again. Go to YouTube and look up Carpool Karaoke with Bad Bunny. And as a wrestling fan, you will not be disappointed.
About this. Yeah. Okay.
It's honestly one of the best Carpool Karaoke episodes ever. And yeah, he's looking it up. It looks like. Go check it out. It's 15 minutes long, but my God, it is worth it. It is so good. They do talk a bit about wrestling, and it's hilarious.
So I can make sure I look at it later.
So good, and I'm actually pretty excited about what paper is going to be in Puerto Rico.
Backlash.
Backlash. And it's just
Backlash
called Backlash.
with him hosting it.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, finally.
Just
Right.
called Backlash.
Thanks again, everyone. Over here, we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys. Sorry.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC, and as always, heels and baby faces. Remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake.
Fake.
Ooh.
Boy.
Enjoy the rest of your spring break.
Adios,
We'll see you next
spring
week.